Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I just want to say shout out really quick. I just saw that I got a new subscriber. Thank you for subscribing. Really, I'm making these videos just it's therapeutic to me, but if you guys find any help, or you find something in my stories, I'm glad. It's really for me, and it's kind of like a journal for me or whatever. So that's why I do these videos. But anyway, guys, subscribe if you would like to hear more. I'm still gonna continue doing my videos. So let's just get into this. Gotta get my cigarette, right? But where do we leave off? Hold on, sorry. Where did we leave off? Okay. So last video, if you haven't seen, go to my channel. My videos are all on my channel, but it was basically my husband. At the time, he was just this guy that I was seeing at school. He ended up giving me a kiss and waiting at the bus stop for me. So I'm on the bus and I'm just like, wow, like this guy really kissed me. I kind of felt that it was coming, but honestly, I felt good. Like, it was surprisingly good for, like, I don't know, but I just felt happy. I felt like, I can't believe this guy kissed me in public. Like, he's not embarrassed by me. He's not afraid of me. He's not repulsed by me or whatever. And I really like that. So anyway, I'm on the bus thinking like all of that when I'm heading home. And he texts me this corny ass shit. He was like, oh, because he went to his train. And so he lives closer. So it took him like maybe 10 minutes to get home. So he texts me, oh, I'm home, by the way. No, he's like, oh, I'm home. And before you ask who this is, I just want to say you have really soft lips. So I'm like, oh God. But that kind of made me laugh. That kind of made me giggle, and it made me feel nice or whatever. And from then on, like, I started thinking about John. Like, I started thinking about him. I started, like, can't wait to see him the next day. Like, he would text me here and there and things like that, but he's not really a big texter. So it wasn't like anything that, big, I guess, So, after that, I started getting to know him a little bit more, and I kept my options open. Like, I wasn't trying to get into a relationship because of Brian and things like that. And so I left my options open. So at this time, I was still fucking Roger. I was still hanging out with him, but I was hanging out with him a little bit less because I wanted to hang out with John more. And I ended up kind of like wanting to cut ties with everyone because I wanted to really focus on John. And how I got that impression, right, was one day he was walking me to the bus stop after we were hanging out or whatever. And I talked to him and I, said, I didn't want to fuck it up. And I didn't want him to think that I was needy or something or whatever. So I said to him, I said, I don't mind having like an open relationship, like if you want to take things further, whatever, like I'm very open with that. I was like, I'm open to open relationships, we can fuck here and there and do this or whatever. And he said to me, he was like, no, Vanessa, I am a one-woman guy. I do not need to fuck around. I do not need to do anything like that. I don't need to have multiple women or whatever. I'm a one-woman guy. And at that moment, I fell in love with him. I fell in love with him because all the other guys that I've ever dealt with, they're always the ones that have girlfriends and, you know, this, that, and the third, and cheating and all of this shit, you know? So I was like shocked, like honestly shocked when he said that to me. And on that ride home, I went and I said to myself, I can't fuck this up. I don't know if I'm ever going to find another guy that is amazing like him and that won't fuck around and is faithful and loyal and things like that. And I really and truly stopped seeing Roger literally that day. Before, when I was hanging out with John and stuff like that, I was seeing Roger here and there, fucking him here and there or whatever. But after that day, I was just like, no, I don't want anybody else. I want him. And I cut ties with Roger. I didn't really cut ties, but I stopped like texting him or saying I'm busy, and I stopped fucking him. So anyway, fast forward to around October now. It was like mid-October, and we've been hanging out for a couple weeks, John and I. And he says to me, he says, I gotta be honest with you, Vanessa. There's this other girl that I've been trying to pursue, you know, before I met you. And, you know, I just want to be honest with you. I kind of just want to, like, tell you this, so it's whatever. So at that moment, I was already in love with him. And, like, I was, like, I loved him as a person, you know, like, he was so sweet and so kind and so thoughtful and so much fun. And, you know, he was a great guy. And so I said to him, I said, it's okay, John. If you want to go to this girl, I'm fine. Like, I just want you to be happy. And he was like, wow, really? And I was like, yeah. And so afterwards, he told, after like a couple of days, he told me that he cut ties with that girl and he wants to be with me. And I'm like, oh, great. Like, you know, he's like, oh yeah, I cut ties with her, whatever. So after that, something happened. He never really asked me to be his girlfriend or whatever. And remember the guy Adesanya, he kept texting me and talking to me and things like that and wanting to have a relationship with me. And he said something to me. I said to him, I was like, oh, you know, I'm really trying to pursue, you know, like, I'm trying to talk to John, like, you know, we've been hanging out a lot or whatever. And he was like, oh, did he ask you to be his girlfriend? And I'm like, well, no. And he's like, oh, well, you know, I would love to, I want you to be, you know, happy. But if he didn't ask you to be his girlfriend, how do you know that he wants to pursue you for real? And that kind of went into my head. And so I went to John and I asked him, I'm like, you know, we've been talking for a while, but you haven't really asked me to be your girlfriend. And he's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm just seeing how things go or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And when he said that, I was just like, maybe I shouldn't keep my options closed off. Like, maybe I should try to pursue other people, because maybe this is not going to work out. He already said that he liked someone else, and, you know, he was pursuing this other person before he met me. So maybe it's not 100% in the bag. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't want to cut ties with everyone and put all my eggs in this basket and then I just lose completely. Like, I feel like I would be crushed. I would be broken. Like, I don't know what I would do. But anyway, stay for part 2 to figure it out what I did next. All right, so I'll talk to you guys in part 2. Bye.